Hello, welcome to today's collective general reading. As always, remember to use your own discernment, join with intention, and allow the message to be received with an open heart. A quantum reminder, we are speaking through symbol and story here, so please do not rely on tarot readings for factual evidence. You are always encouraged to do your own research, especially when engaging with strangers on the internet. I know there are new people here. I just earlier today filmed the collaboration with Scythe from Witch and Scythe, which is now live. So hello people who are new to this channel. Hello people I might know from the comments over there. If you haven't already, you can watch part 1 on her channel, part 2 on mine. This is like, would you call it a continuation, or would it kind of be like a rhyming? An extended family. But there was still some energy and I wanted to keep going. Something that had come up, 9 of Swords, the Lord of Despair and Cruelty. Woof woof. Something that had come up in the second part on my channel was about being presented with a square. We have this Uno. And I'm feeling called to do four corners. Not necessarily north, east, south, west, but 4 potential pillars, kind of building off the back of 4 of Wands energy. Four walls to a house, but it's a house, not a home. What do we have on bottom? 2 of Discs, which is one of the first 2 cards that I had pulled with Scythe. So it's something which I didn't even go into the, like, now that I think of it, I didn't even speak to that. Okay. 7 of Wands, the Lord of Velour. 6 of Discs, the Lord of Material Success. King of Swords, the Lord of the Wind and the Breezes, the King of the Spirits of Air. And Queen of Wands, the Queen of the Throne of the Flame. What is very interesting is that each of these 4 colors is represented here. We obviously have red, yellow on the inside, green on the outside, blue on the inside. And this was a common theme. This in to out, this out to in. What is inside wanting to come out, banging at the door. And if you resonated with that, you may also resonate with this. You may also have not resonated with that, and this resonates. I feel like I'm speaking in riddles. Something of, I'm seeing these as their cross pairs. Here we have this circle, so 7 of Wands with the 6 of Discs. A 6 to a 7, and it's a transition. It is not a continuation, it is a transition. Something of, this feels like the echo to this. Or, you know, when people will be like smoking cigarettes or cigars and then they'll blow a circle and then blow another smoke bit through that circle. There's something of, by getting rid of, by expelling, by releasing, something coming out, something exiting. Through the exit, there's this, I don't want to say chaos, I'll frame it as confusion coming through. We have Queen of Wands and King of Swords. And when I watched the playback, I saw that it had been the Ace of Swords and then the Queen and King of Pentacles. But I called them swords. I misspoke. And interesting for the King of Swords to come back and say, I'm here now. But something of this magic to mouth, magic to mission, magic to communication, magic to outcome. Something I'm seeing, here we are surrounded by this red and there's this blue, almost whale-like shape inside. Whereas here, it's the red is shrunk and it's a similar shape if you look at it like this. if you turn one upside down, see how it's thin? It's kind of globbing towards this way. And this feels like oil dropping into water. If you've seen those videos of people, or you've seen it in real life, when they're doing like dips of stuff, and so they'll put a bunch of paint or coloring of some kind into the water and then break through it. There's something of this feels like it's a part of the ecosystem. This is current. This here feels like it's bleeding through. So perhaps there's something in your mind to do with mental state that's been confusing or confuddling what you've been trying to manifest or create in magical senses, with magical senses. It's transition, curmudgeon. There's an interruption. Okay. Speaking of this whale shape, number 32, richness, marine life. There is a reading on my channel a few weeks ago that this is the thumbnail and it says whale message. So that may be a message for you because it came out in the same way the other day. Number 5, to make equal, the equator. And I'm filming this on May 5th. So 5 being a number for change. Yes. Seeing, I hadn't noticed that on this card before because I was just thinking she's pointing to the Queen of Wands, but resting on her hand here is this, I don't know if I'd call it Earth, I'll call it a globe. And a lot of the conversation earlier with Scythe is talking about a new Earth, which I'm, you know, there's language, and then there are things that get attached to language and kind of soak up the, not magnetization. I'm looking over here and I have a pair of glasses next to a pair of glasses. It's a double loss of sight because we get wrapped up in fantastical language. We have hopes and we have wants, as my voice just tickled out there. And those can easily turn into demands and confrontation and conflict if we are not mindful of how this desire for answer, desire for belonging, desire of existence is, I was going to say manifesting, but I'm getting molding. Not like something to mold, to go green, to rot. Something like there being a mold and you pour gold into it and you now have a gold shaped item that is gold and mold that is molded through what you've poured it into. So what have you been pouring into? Number 35, fecundity, rain. 23, cleansing, storms. Actually, I'll stop there. Stop there for a moment. Keep those around. Rain and storm. So a lot of emotions. We don't have any cups here. It's the only suit we are missing. I'm seeing this tiny light speck. I'm not even sure if you can see it. It's sure there are many of them on here, but that looks like it's a piece of salt. Looks like I should be able to flick it off. Looks like something that is, and now it stands out. I'd never noticed that one spot before, but you're hyper focusing on something. And it's in doing so without balance, a river can become an uncontained dam. It can overtake 13 solitariness, desert, and 20 rock. Wow. So we definitely have water and we definitely have earth. And getting desert and rock being, not literally, there are layers to this, but if I'm to speak with sweeping assumptions here, being void of water. And this, I'll say it because it's coming through, and I'm not exactly speaking with like, this is what I believe, but this is, again, we're speaking through symbol and story. So there may be something here that is, and again, this is a wider collective because there are more people here now. The earth being withdrawn of water. And, thank you. Okay. So I talk a lot about the polycrisis. For people who don't know, I have a background in social sciences. I've published research in disaster studies. I have experience working within systems, in activism. Yes. So when it comes to, there's a lot of things happening in the world. This includes climate change. And it can often feel overwhelming, disorienting, and debilitating to consider what is happening around the globe. This includes, as I hear sirens outside, losing access to water, clean water becoming dirtied, running out of water, ice melting, and then too much water. Like it's as these sirens get closer. And similar, you as human, us being made of, 70% water is a fact I heard when I was a kid, and I haven't heard a different number since. It can also suck the life out of us to be trying to keep up with all of this. I'm looking at the globe here and how this, the tree rooted through this rock is also surrounded by a globe, and seeing the stars outside. So you may find it of benefit to look up, what would it be called? I believe it's called the Great Year. But if you do a internet search for the Great Year plus Zodiac plus 25,000 years, you will find something about how roughly every 2,000 years we enter a new sign in the Zodiac. And how this is because it takes 25 years for the Earth, not the Earth, for again, I'm not the cosmic science here, so I'm going to speak out of pocket. The next thing I'm going to say is probably not correct scientifically, factually, so please, as always, do your own research. But something of, it takes 25,000 years for us to go through this rotation with the zodiac. Or let's say we start at 0 degrees in Aries, and then it takes us 25 years to get back to 0 degrees of Aries. I'm speaking to how recently, and there's time differentiation for how people view this, we have entered the age of Aquarius. Some people say that happened in 2012. Some people say that happened in February 2026. Some people say it was 2024. Some people say we haven't hit it yet. And I'm not the one to butter your bread on which specific date it is that brings this in. But I can say, in a comparison to roughly 2,000 years, we are at the precipice, if not already inside the age of Aquarius, which is innovation, doing things new ways. The depth of divine, intuitive, I'll say moon knowledge coming through is giving us an opportunity to view these crises differently. By doing it the same way, this is us feeling helpless, feeling like we can't do anything, like everything is outside of our control, that we can't contribute to healing, and that we're all just gonna burn up to a crisp and die on this rock, right? I know that that is a fear that has run rampant through the collective of Earth. I get it. There's a lot of things going on that suck. And I'm putting it very lightly, very, very lightly. And I'm not laughing at the issue of it. It's just, sometimes it's just like, oh, more bad news. I understand. And especially when we look at the media and what we are choosing to consume, what is placed upon us. I'm feeling this in my left wrist now, and it's a bit of a pain. So there's more coming in than we have the capacity to be processing, to be doing something about. And for people who are, this is just, I guess, like a tiny plug, I'm offering sessions working with people who are trying to navigate the realities of the world these days. We can talk about polycrisis. We can talk about the lists. You know what I mean? There's a lot of terrible bad news going on. And there's also, at the same times, there are people walking a spiritual life, and there are people who are having their spiritual awakening. And it's this simultaneous waking up to their divine self, to the history of the cosmos, to all of the power of the universe being within them, awakening consciousness, and then being brought attention to all of these things happening on a global scale, talking about politics, things that are going on nation to nation, human rights that are not being treated as rights, all of these things. And that can be a lot to handle. So I am offering kind of like coaching sessions, working with people, navigating that. I have a background in social work. The areas that I've worked within would be, I'm not even sure if I can say the words on YouTube, humans, and then, when you're stuck in traffic, that, also specifically, small people, dealing with that, housing, diversity, equity, and inclusion, accessibility. I've worked in post-secondary government, healthcare, nonprofit, unions. So all of this complexity of the world coming through, I don't offer therapy, but I am someone who has the training and the ability to sit with you in conversation, walking through these complexities. Anyway, so just where all of this big stuff is coming up, if you are interested in working together, my email is in the description. You can reach out and we can find something that works. I'm new to introducing this through digital spiritual ecosystems. So the first few are experimental. And thank you for joining me here. What do we have? 24, change wind with 7, darkness moon. And I am getting this as Age of Aquarius. As I hear a plane or a helicopter take off, going into the sky. Yes, through this wind. Can you hear that? A big shift. a very big shift. And I'm seeing how I didn't even realize that. We have like stars or at least speckles or dots here Hello card falling over. We have stars here, we have stars here. We have this earth highlighted on the right side, right? No stars, no stars, no stars. A bit of light in the distance, but it's fogged. It's covered over. And so sometimes it can feel like having to choose between the reality, the earthly world that we are born into, and this mystical realm. And there's this pressure to resolve one into another, to receive, to deliver, to create, to source finite conclusions and have an answer for everything. Yeah, Four of Pentacles there, as it's okay. Five of Swords. We'll get to this influence. But with this Four of Pentacles, we're holding on to the expectation that we can define everything as if life is the Oxford Dictionary. Something's going to have to go. For us to move forward in our journey, we're going to have to release something. What if that release is releasing the illusion that we have control over everything? What do we have control over? Ourselves. Our own internal systems. How we respond to the world. Reacting versus responding. Being taken out of our boots is what I'm hearing. And looking at his shoes here and how to walk forward, he's going to have to walk off of one of these pentacles. And the wind, the sword energy, this chaos, again, another 5. It may be so strong that the minute he steps off of this pentacle, this gold pentacle, again, what we forged earlier through a mold, it flies away. As my throat is cutting out there. That loss can feel overwhelming. Something that you worked so hard for, or even just something that you believe is supposed to be in the world. 3 of Cups. For me, I always connect the 3 of Cups with Antakarana, which is an ancient divine symbol. I know it through sacred geometry, and there is so much more history to it that I don't have access to. Like in this very moment, I could do the research, but I have not. My understanding is it's that moment of immediate connection with source consciousness through your crown chakra is the easiest way to explain it. The visual I use is it's like taking a cord and plugging it into a socket. The moment, you know, sometimes you ever like plug in a cord and you see a little flash kind of thing? It's that exact moment, that spark of connection. Queen of Pentacles. And it's through Scythe, I've heard her talk about the Queen of Pentacles being the queen of self-care. And so the message to this, as this deck of confusion keeps rising, it keeps getting moved up and up and up. Not in avoidance, not to move away from it, but to be at a higher state of witness. And so the key in living a peaceful life, living in gratitude, being in balance, having a regulated nervous system, remaining within your window of tolerance, being able to handle the stuff that life hands you is through being able to care for yourself. I'm seeing now how it's this energy, it's coming in to go out, but now it knows where it's going. It's going directly up. I'm gonna do 1 here. Nine of Spires, 9 of Swords, which I believe is nope, I think it was the bottom earlier before I started. Either way, It's this moving up. There's this light in the distance. And Nine of Spires, Nine of Swords being that frightening feeling. Here it can feel like being all the way back here, and that's where you need to go. You have no idea how you're going to get there. You cannot envision your path forward. Just because you cannot yet see it does not mean it's not already forming for you. Bonus, who was this? 10 of Stones. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this here. This New Earth card. In this deck, the stones, the pentacles, are telling the story of a town being created and all the stages it takes, and then being wiped away by a windstorm, and then them coming together and building it and adding color, and it's beautiful, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. We're building this beautiful, blessed city. The 10 of Stones is thousands of years in the future. The remnants of this beautiful city being built, only now being found once more. And so there is a layer of goodbye to, you could say, the old earth or the current earth or your current way of life, the stories that you know, the stories that the world has told you that you have then repeated telling yourself. As again, my voice, but it didn't quite go out, but it shook a little. Growing, evolving requires change. It just does. And change can feel scary. And some people will be afraid to face change, so they choose to never change and have everything be the same all the time. This came through in a reading, I think a few weeks ago, of can nothing change, but can everything get better? And if we look around at the state of the world, a world we share, there are things going on that are not good. And to make things better, change must occur. Change is occurring. Are you choosing to walk this same path with the collective? Okay. I'm going to leave this here. If this message resonated with you, you can like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to hear from me more often. In the description, I will have links to my Buy Me a Coffee if you would like to book a private reading or an experimental session addressing kind of the meeting of polycrisis and spiritual innovation. And I will also link my Substack, which hosts the 444 Collective. Stay tuned.